Hello everyone, welcome back to another video from the great Ed Leon. We're doing it this time Aew August. I forgot what fucking day it is. I think it's like the 7th. I don't fucking know. So this week in AEW, we start off the show with the JAS pretty much telling Chris Jericho that he's a fucking asshole and fuck you. They pretty much all went one by one saying all his worst qualities and how they're just leaving him. Besides Guevara, who decided to say, you know what, Jericho, you're not that bad of a guy, man. I actually will help you if you figure out your old ways and become better. And then he left. But pretty much they all broke up with Chris Jericho, left him like he's a fucking whore. And then after the commercial break, they showed Jericho and Don Callis, and Jericho said he's gonna announce what him and Don Callis, if he's gonna join Don Callis or not. And I'm actually interested in that. Next up, we have the Hardys versus the Bucks. Actually a pretty solid match considering the Hardys are pretty washed. They actually had a pretty decent good match here. Young Bucks won. It was pretty good. After the match, FTR came out. FTR Bucks free at Wembley Stadium. That's tough. I fuck with it. That shit gonna be tough. After that, we had We had the FTW title match between RBD and Jungle Boy Jack Perry. And I gotta say it now, I think Jack Perry is a top 10 wrestler right now in AEW. His heel work has been so entertaining that I'm willing to say this guy is one of my favorites right now, in my top 10. This match was my favorite match of the night. It was really cool. They did a bunch of crazy spots. RBD is in my top 10 fair wrestlers in general. Jack Perry wins after cheating, but I assume All In rematch, Jack Perry, RBD. It seemed like RBD was not finished after that. He looked, pretty pissed. After this, I believe there were a couple segments. I think there was the MJF Cole Trampoline Park segment that I didn't know I had to say. And then after that segment, they had MJF and Cole come to the ring, talk about All In. Then they said they're going to go in the pre-show and face whoever the fuck the Ring of Honor World Champions are. I don't give a fuck about the Ring of Honor shit, so that's cool. Then Roddy came out and said, what the fuck? What the fuck is wrong with you, Adam? I've been your day one, and you gonna turn your back on me like this. Then Adam Cole said, actually Adam Cole didn't say anything. And so Roddy was kind of right. MJF called him vanilla bitch. And then Roddy was so pissed about it. He was on his fucking period again. Got so pissed about it. He started crying about it. Said that Cole was never his friend. And Cole got mad at MJF. And then went after Roddy. So I assume they're already building up the tension. That's cool. That's tough. That's hard. Then we had the BBC versus the Ucha Bros. Honestly, I wasn't really excited for this match, but they actually made me kind of like it near the end of the match. I was fucking with it. The BBC have actually turned out to be one of my favorite things going on right now in AEW. They're interesting. I like them. I always liked Mox as a kid. He's always my favorite Shield member. Claudio is tough. Yuta, he's growing on me. I like him. He's tough. The BBC picked up the win after cheating, after taking off Penta's mask, and then they pretty much beat the shit out of them. Nobody came out. It was kind of awkward. They just stood there. It was kind of awkward. After this, of course, we had Swerve come out with his group. I don't know their name. I just called him Swerve's House. Him and AR Fox called out Darby because Darby didn't call AR Fox, but then Darby come out and said, I did call you. You were just a fucking druggie. Jesus Christ. Then Darby said, you want to beat up me with your friends? I got my friends. And everyone knows who is going to be. Lights turn off. Oh God, it's Bray Wyatt. Now it's fucking Sting shows up. It's going to be Sting and Darby versus Swerve, AR Fox in a coffin match. How the fuck does that work in a 2v2 situation? But I fucked with it. I fucked with the segment. That was cool. Then we had our main event, and the main event is going to put down this show a little bit. Because to be honest with you, I didn't really care much for it. Earlier on the show, they announced a women's tournament, by the way. I didn't mention it, but they announced a women's tournament for All In. Toni Storm already qualified for it simply because she was champion before, so she just gets it in. She used a rematch clause. And Sheeta was putting her spot on the line against Anna Jay. I wonder who believed Anna Jay was going to win this. Sheeta wins in a very boring and slow match. It was just not fun. I was just bored. I don't really care about Anna Jay. I mean, she's improved, but she went from shitty to just okay. So, wow, if we're keeping it real, Tay. Tay Mello, really good star. You can hear that from me, though. Really better if it do. Shido wins. Lol. Honestly, if it wasn't for that main event, this show would be 8 out of 10. But with that main event, 7.5 out of 10. Still a pretty good show. I'm hyped for All In. Watch it with my girlfriend. But if you enjoyed this video and want to hear more AEW, content, subscribe.